Low kidney transplant rates for Indigenous Australians are shocking, unacceptable, and are likely to be driven by racism, the Australian Medical Association, AMA, has said. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander dialysis patients are less likely than other Australians to receive a transplant. Remote patients have a tenth of the chance, and urban patients a third of a chance, research suggests. I am shocked by those figures. A tenfold gap is entirely unacceptable, AMA President Drive Michael Gannon said. The topic of racism in our health system is an uncomfortable one for doctors, nurses, but it has to be one of the possible reasons for this kind of disparity. If there's reasons why Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders are not being transplant listed, they need to be investigated, but the problems need to be fixed. Indigenous Health Minister Ken Wyatt said he was disheartened by the disparities, and will urge the Australian Organ and Tissue Donation and Transplantation Board to look into the issue. It's something I want to focus on for the next 12 months of starting to heighten the awareness. We have to have more Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people accessing organs. A patient must undergo a workup of health tests to be accepted onto the active waiting list for a new kidney, and each state and territory operates a separate wait list. The decision to approve a patient is ultimately made by a panel of specialists, which assesses each potential recipient, said Drive Paul Lawton, a nephrologist based in Darwin. Drive Lawton said there was heated debate among kidney specialists about why transplant rates are low for Indigenous patients in remote and urban areas. It's certainly not fair, and we, myself and several colleagues, have called, and will continue to call, for fairness as part of our system of allocating the scarce resource of kidney donations, he said. Kidney specialist, Professor Steve Chadper, a former president of the Transplant Society of Australia and New Zealand, said Indigenous people had a higher risk of death after a transplant. We even found that Indigenous Australians who returned to remote areas in particular were at greater risk of firstly rejecting their kidney, and seeing kidney failure occur, but secondly, of acquiring infection, he said. Brenda Dole-Aqua has spent nearly 5 years of her life on dialysis, and she relies on the treatment to stay alive. 3 times a week she visits the Blacktown Hospital in Western Sydney and spends up to 5 hours hooked up to a machine which filters toxins from her blood. She hopes that soon she will be able to get a kidney transplant, but she has been waiting for years to get on the active donation wait list in New South Wales. There's a lot of tests you have to go through, because they check your heart, and they check your everything and then they put you on it, and it's alright to be on it, but you've got to get activated on it, to get a kidney, she said. The constant burden of regular dialysis means Ms. Dole-Aqua can rarely travel far from home, and has missed out on time with her family who live in regional New South Wales. I haven't been home for Christmas for 4 years, so hopefully if I get a kidney I'll be going home for Christmas next year, she said.